We would like to begin with a very special address, and for this, once again, I would like to request Shri Akhilesh Ranjan to please join us on stage and formally open and set the tone for decoding New Income Tax Bill 2025.
Thank you very much once again. So this is the hot topic of the year, let's say, the new income tax code or the bill. We have an extremely distinguished panel which is going to discuss various aspects of this new bill, this new initiative. And I'm sure that all of you would be waiting very eagerly to hear the views on different aspects of this new bill and what it means for us. I would just like to share a couple of thoughts on this initiative of the government, which is being heralded as a major tax reform, of course. It is a major development, to say the least. A new act, a new law is something very, very significant. So the first question that comes to people's minds is, why do we need a new income tax law? And I think we have heard a lot of things, and a lot of amendments became complicated, became difficult, and therefore we wanted to streamline. But I would give it a more deeper perspective and say that that a rewriting or a redrafting of the tax law from time to time is not just desirable, but also maybe necessary in many respects. So tax laws are, the function of a tax law is essentially to enable the government to raise revenues which it needs for its spending and its distributional goals. But it must do so. It must raise that revenue by avoiding or not going into any economic or administrative inefficiency. It must do so by creating a tax system which is simple and transparent. It must do so by avoiding any artificial tax differentiations across different classes of taxpayers or across different types of economic category or activities. And this makes the job of a tax law or tax law drafters very, very difficult. How do we draft a tax law which takes into account all these needs, not just the need to raise revenues, but to maintain this balance of the competing forces? And then if we have a developing and an emerging economy, in which we are seeing rapidly changing economic realities all the time, and we have the rise of digital technology which is causing disruptions everywhere, and we have new and emerging business models which are relying extensively on technology and which are creating new streams of income, new areas of business which had not been encountered before, then there is a need for a constant evolution of the tax law. And I think it is this need for evolution that has been attempted to be addressed in this latest initiative. This is not something new. The desire to reform income tax law in India is very old. We have had several committees over the years, the major ones being the Vanchu Committee, the Chelaya Committee, the Kelkar Committee of 2002. We had the DTC Bill of 2009. We had the Eastward Committee of 2015. And we had a task force report of 2019, in August 2019. All of these initiatives recommended tax reforms with the main aim of bringing the tax law in line with economic realities, in line with this fast-changing world, and positioning India in this fast-changing world. But all these different reports, these initiatives, did lead to amendments made in the law in a piecemeal fashion. apart from the amendments made every year in the annual budgets, which were necessitated for various reasons, for clarification, rationalization, simplification, there were so many other amendments required to be made because of the recommendations of these committees also. And because of this piecemeal nature of amendments, the tax law does not, or loses its character of a comprehensive code. And I think that's the main reason why I would say that rewriting or redrafting an income tax law is a necessary exercise which the government must carry out at some point or the other. And many countries in the world have done it, have been doing it, because it's the nature of tax to be complex in itself and to create more and more complexity. And it is in the nature of tax to evolve and align with new economic environments. So the UK did it in the 1990s, for example. They had a huge income tax code. That exercise, carried out over a period of 3 or 4 years, resulted in that code becoming 5 separate codes dealing with different parts of income and corporate taxation. Australia did it. Many other countries have done it in some measure or the other. So it was welcome that the government of India also decided to redraft this income tax law. There have been, of course, earlier attempts to draft a new code. The TTC bill of 2009 was one such attempt. We know that it had made a number of recommendations, recommended a lot of changes, which were controversial, some of them, and then the bill went through the Standing Committee of Parliament and ultimately could not be introduced in Parliament in this revised version. We had the task force which submitted a report in 2019. It is again a task force comprised of professionals and experts from different fields. It was incidentally headed by me, and we submitted a report in August 2019 along with a draft income tax bill. And that bill is very much there in the Finance Ministry. The DTC bill of 2009 could not become law for various reasons. This bill has not been made public for I don't know what reasons in the government. But this, in any case, this new initiative has been taken up in realization of the fact that we do need to now redraft the law and make it more concise, more comprehensible, more understandable. So it is, I think, as I said, necessary to redraft the law. But the second question is more important as to, if we decide to redraft the law, then how do we approach this exercise? I think there will always be two competing considerations in the minds of drafters when they are trying to redraft an existing law. The first consideration being that, and that's a very important consideration, to maintain the consistency and the continuity of the tax structure. To maintain or to retain this predictability and stability of tax policy. And that's in fact something which has been stated by the government while introducing this new bill. The press release makes it very clear that no policy changes are being made in this new law so as to ensure the continuity and certainty of tax policy, and no changes in the tax structure or the tax rates is being made to continue with the predictability and stability of tax policy. So that's a primary consideration to be kept in mind while redrafting an income tax law. It should not create disruptions. It should not also create avenues for new and fresh disputes. It should try and retain concepts and words and phrases which have been understood over the years, which the government says an attempt has been made to do so in the present law, in the present draft. But there's another consideration which should be kept in mind by the people who draft a new law. And that is that the new law must also, or should, strive to take into account the change in economic realities in which the country is at the moment. In order for the new law or the new draft to be relevant and purposeful and action-oriented, it must consider and acknowledge where the country is at the moment, what are the main challenges, and where it is headed. They must look at the fault lines in the existing tax structure, and there are several, and try and see whether these fault lines can be addressed through this exercise of rewriting the tax law. Consideration must be given to what are the future needs of this country. We have a great vision in front of us, a vision of a Viksit Bharat by 2047, and I think it's a great vision to have, and a great vision which has been communicated by the leadership to the country and the people of the country. But if we have to reach that vision of a Viksit Bharat by 2047, then our initiatives like redrafting laws or formulating new policies must be oriented towards that goal. And it's in that regard that perhaps there are questions being raised. There are issues being discussed as to does this new draft in any way further advancement towards that goal? Or is it not meant to further the advancement towards that goal? I think the government has made it very clear that the aim is only a textual simplification of the language of the law. There is no other aim, objective of remodeling or reframing that law in order to give it a new focus and a new direction. Well, the government, of course, must be having its own reasons for taking that decision. As things stand, this new simplified text, and it is, I must say, it is a major and commendable effort by people who sat down and managed to redraft this law within a span of 6 months. It is not easy to redraft an income tax code in a period of 6 months. Obviously, there are some errors and omissions which I'm sure the Select Committee will take care of, and the people who are involved will still take care of. But it's a commendable effort certainly to put it together. And it's going to become a law. Probably by next year we'll have that. But I think the question will still remain as to what more should be done in the area of tax reform. And there is a lot that requires to be done. A lot of expectations were raised. I could remind you of the speech of the Finance Minister in July 24, when she said that we are undertaking a comprehensive review of the income tax law. A comprehensive review is what people expected, and that led to a lot of expectations that this would come out with something major, something which will fill up the fault lines, which is something which will clear up ambiguities, reduce litigation, do many other things which can be done without changing the tax structure, without disturbing the continuity of tax policy, without disturbing the predictability and stability of the tax structure. There are several things which could have been done. Be that as may, we have, I think, a simplified text at the moment. The effort of the government and the effort from all of us should be to try and make this draft work. There are areas which are raising doubts and concerns. I don't think the government wants any concerns or ambiguities to come up. In fact, on the contrary, the government wants ambiguities to be cleared up. I think we should try and desist from trying to make interpretations of new words and phrases in a manner which is not intended. There is certainly a responsibility on the CBDT and the government to try and clarify these doubts and these concerns at the earliest. Because tax laws, as you know, I mean, they are always subject to interpretations, and concerns and arguments and discussions will arise. So it is, I think, the responsibility of all of us to try and make this new draft work, and then look further as to how we can make further changes or further reforms in the tax policy and tax reform structure. So I will end there by saying that but while it is a commendable effort on the part of the government, the new text is certainly simplified, can certainly help the ordinary taxpayer or even the corporate to look at the law and understand its obligations and the compliance requirements. At the same time, one would have hoped for a wider scope of this change, at least to fill up those areas or to fill up those holes which are there in the existing structure, which are causing concern to business and industry, which are causing uncertainties, which are causing pain to the ordinary taxpayer. I would now leave it to the distinguished panel to talk about the various aspects and the finer details of this law, and I wish you all the best for that. Thank you.